It would be all right if I died tomorrow. My father said this when my mother's last brother died of cancer. He was not suffering from depression. It was rather an expression of gratitude and carpe diem. This sentence changed my life. The thought that I only have a short time left to show what I am grateful for and what I still want to learn triggered a shift in perspective in my thinking. I quit floorball, the sport that took up most of my time, and left little room for all the things I learned to appreciate after that incident. I started cooking with my mother and learned far more than just recipes from her. I began spending more time with my father and valued all the things he shared with me. I started understanding my sister's nature and valued her company and support before she left for China for a gap year. Reflecting on difficult decisions, gratitude, family, failure, loss and love, writing songs seemed to be an ideal way to capture and convey my thoughts and feelings. That's why I created Roots, an album of 8 pop songs, each one reflecting on a different part of my roots. I learned how to write, record, produce, and publish my songs myself, and I designed a visual world along with them. I Know, Incomparable, My Heart, and Fly On are all about my family. Flashback tells about how competitive sports cannot be combined. Bad Memories describes my feeling of failure and how I deal with it. Stuck on You and Young are about young love. The Roots cover in the centre with the mathematical square root symbol alludes to Ed Sheeran's use of mathematical symbols in his albums. My R is at the centre of everything. This R stands for Robin and for Roots, but also for realisation and reflection. Each design uses a unique form of this R, and a clear and simple symbolism delivers the message of it across several aspects. Each colour has a connection to the content and a feeling that matches the mood. In my first single, I Know, I reflected on my father's sentence I mentioned in the beginning. Let me show you the short video I created for I Know. I Know is about how I realised just how much I value everything my father did for me. The cover art shows an R for Robin, containing a P in it for Papa. The letters I and K stand for the song title. Orange is my father's favourite colour and fits the nostalgic and warm sound of the song. I Know is out on all streaming platforms. I hope you like it. I never knew what it got till it was standing right in front of me. I never knew. So now I would like to play you a short part of I Know as a stripped down, really acoustic version, because this is how I composed most of my songs actually, by singing along to chords on the guitar and creating the lyrics at the same time. Oh, I know, all I know. Photos of me, just a few years old, playing table tennis in the gym as I'm told. Dad right beside me, guiding my hand, trying hard to make me understand. At 6 years old, my fingers blocking the strings, playing the guitar, that's where it begins. When he was young, he couldn't learn those things, so he even hard taught me to sing. Yesterday might have seemed hard, I never asked myself why. Today I realize it's from the heart. Your dreams for me were up in the sky. Thought I did everything for him. I didn't realize just one thing. He did everything for me. Why did it take me so long to see? I never knew what it got until it was standing right in front of me. I never knew what it got until it was standing in front of me, so clear to see. But I know, all I know, all I know, all I know. How can I tell you how I feel? I couldn't phrase it, needed to face it. That's why I wrote this song, to put those words out there where they belong. So to me, writing lyrics meant condensing and formulating my story into a rhyming story that fits into a song. Literary devices and rhyme have such a great impact on lyrics. Here's a short lyrical snippet from my second hip-hop track, Flashback, and here's how it sounds.
In my country's flag, we're back, trying to flash back. In fact, I had a knife for him for transplant, drops the back it up in my backpack.
So, I try to adapt the musical style to the context. Every idea and every inspiration is different, so that resulted in very different songs as well. The choice of instruments, rhythm, arrangement, melody and harmony all affect how a song adapts to its message. This is Logic Pro, the digital audio workstation that I spent most of my time with. There is an incredible amount that I could tell you about this application, but I have to keep it short. So after songwriting, I proceeded to recording my audio into Logic. By using virtual instruments, I was even able to use instruments that I do not own or I can't play, just by using a MIDI keyboard. As I performed everything myself, I had to record over a metronome in my headphones to stay on beat. This meant that I could later stack several layers on top of each other, as you can see here, for example. Now, I'm not Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson who can just nail the first take, so that's why it took me quite a long time to find the right takes and edit them where they contained unwanted sounds or even mistakes. The next step was then mixing. On this specific track, there are 5 audio plugins with audio effects on them and 2 more sends with audio effects. While songwriting creates that original sound, mixing shapes and defines that sound. Technical elements become creative tools. I could go on about plugins, audio effects and sends and many other mixing techniques I learned were it not for my time constraint. So after adding the last polishes to and testing different versions in the final stage of music production, which is called mastering, I published my songs on streaming services like Spotify via a distribution service. The pinnacle of my usage of technical elements was probably in my second to last single, Fly On. Fly On is written from my mother's perspective. It shows how a family survives war and hardship and carries on after repeated heavy losses. The cover art shows a white R with a grainy texture on a black background. Black stands for death and suffering, white for hope and the strength to fly on. This flying on is captured by the black and white gradient. I would now like to play you a part of Fly On, and maybe you'll notice elements like the special sound of my voice created by a chorus effect, or changes in the arrangement, or the sporadic snare sound that sounds like rifle shots. They're all linked to the atmosphere of this song.
Fly up, get a fly high and try and get a fly. Try to fly up, get a dragonfly up, get a fly high and try and get a fly. My mother carried me across the ocean. It was post-war, the borders were open. I was 4 years old when my grandfather died, and then 5 when my father left my side. Cancer carried him far away, left a dark void, the bruises stayed. Now there's only shards of moments that are jarred. I let down my guard, but they die hard. We always cope, never look back, the past gone. Our father, he would say, you carry the power now and the weight of a family. Now that I'm gone, the fate is on your shoulders. You could have died in the war about 100 times before. Take that and show us what we survive for. So dragonfly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, dragonfly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, this one's left behind, left the mark inside, but you got it in life, so get up and fly high, fly high, fly high, fly high, high, high.
Well, I'm sorry we have to stop here already, but I want to talk about a few challenges as well. Dealing with the learning curve was a big challenge. As a beginner, it takes a long time to learn a new skill and progress seems to be slower. But even if learning parts of a new software like Adobe After Effects, for example, took a long time, I realized that it was totally worth it. A newly learned skill, program or plugin can make a process much more efficient and better in the future. But even if it did not save time, the knowledge I gained was more valuable to me. Moreover, adding skills to my toolbox made up for my lack of experience. As a beginner, I cannot make decisions based on experience. By analysing famous productions and watching many tutorials, I was able to counteract this. In professional music production, there are normally different people for each category. So there would be a mixing engineer or a mastering engineer and so on. Being alone was something I desired, but soon saw as a challenge. Seeing the broad picture was very difficult when I had heard a song over and over already and lost myself in the details. Different people bring different opinions from more objective perspectives. Nevertheless, I was curious to see if I could do it all on my own. I could have endlessly worked on each song and I would have never finished all of them. So at some point I had to accept that the marginal improvements I could achieve were not worth the time and effort required to implement them. A song always captures a state. The state of my roots in music must also be captured, and roots is a snapshot of my life on which I can look back later and judge on. Balancing this project in my life and bringing everything under one roof proved to be challenging, although I soon found out where my priorities lay. My fascination and curiosity drove my motivation for this project, despite the lack of sleep that I had along the way. Time pressure improved my decision making and planning. Using the app Notion to organize and plan everything, I set task deadlines almost daily. Of course, there were also technical difficulties, the biggest one being a data loss. Although I had backed up my work on 2 external hard drives, I lost 30 hours of hard work I had put in over a week to a synchronization mistake. I had to cope with this loss and set up and adjusted my plans. For 2 days, I set up a new shortcut which automatically saved my data onto 3 different locations at the push of one button when I shut down the computer. So although very hard to take, I am very grateful for this experience because I learned a new way to avoid this problem in the future. I talked about my first single, I Know, dedicated to my father. My 4th single, My Heart, is dedicated to my sister. It only makes sense that the song for my mother, Incomparable, is the last song on the album, and I would like to end my presentation with it as well. Incomparable expresses my gratitude for her love. The cover art shows a black line on a white background. This line can be read as a small L for my mother's name, but also as the number 1, as in one of a kind, and the letter I of incomparable. While the original framework of my R can hardly be seen in this design, breaking out of it is what makes this design interesting. The white colour is kind, neutral, and angel-like. It refers to her timeless love and brings all colours together, just like she binds our family. So this is Incomparable. I hope you like it.
Oh, yeah. Check. They say I got your heart, but I don't think that's true. No one could ever love the way you do. You care about it all in a way I know one does. How can I ever show my gratitude? 'Cause time's slipping away, yeah. And I feel less English you didn't say. So now I'm trying to spend time us two, go shipping and cook with you. Wanna do the things you do, just too much love. Oh, if you knew just how much I treasure you, when we're laughing all of you, when you look in my eyes. Oh, you're incomparable, one of a kind. You're an angel. Oh, you're exceptional. How much I find just incomparable.
Well, again, I'm sorry I have to stop here already, but more details can be found on my Linktree, where you can access all my other songs and explanatory videos, and even read my commentary if you want to. If you're interested in listening to the other songs and topics I had to leave out, I suggest you watch my short videos first for a deeper understanding of each song. So thank you very much for coming, and yes. Okay, so if there are no further questions, I would also like to show you some merch that I made. If you'd be interested, you can look at it afterwards. And yes, so thank you very much for coming and listening to my presentation.